My mother made a fake Instagram account to convince my little sister, Ella, that our late father was still alive, and the outcome was far worse than she could have imagined. When my dad passed away, I was 16, and Ella was only 9. His death didn't hit me as hard as it might have because I poured all my energy into protecting Ella. For 2 years, I felt like a shell of myself, finding solace only in sleep, where I'd hoped to dream of my dad, and often did. But I kept this hidden from Ella, always wearing a mask of strength or forced cheer when she was around. I needed her to believe her big brother was her rock, especially since our mother was spiraling in the opposite direction. Mom coped by staying in bed all day, refusing to face the world. At night, she'd bring home a new man, almost every evening, her loud antics echoing through the house like she was trying to drown out her grief. When I tried to confront her, she'd scream, "I pushed you out of my body, and this is how you talk to me?" Her words stung, but I couldn't let them distract me from Ella, who became my sole focus. Ella, sweet and trusting, struggled to accept our dad's death. She'd ask, "Are you and Mom sure this isn't a joke?" Even at his funeral, as his casket was lowered, she smiled, expecting him to pop up and reveal it was all a prank. By Christmas, Dad's favorite holiday, her hope shifted. Instead of thinking he was joking, she became convinced he was missing, but alive. She'd spend weekends visiting his favorite places, the golf range, the corner store where he bought cigarettes, clutching his old $3,000 lottery ticket from 20 years ago. He used to keep it by his nightstand, staring at it as if it held some magic. Ella waved it around, believing he'd see it and come out of hiding. I knew her behavior was irrational, but grief can push anyone, especially a child, to the edge. I tried distracting her with shows like iCarly or Victorious. And sometimes she'd laugh, but then she'd cry out, "Dad would have loved this part," before running outside to search for him again. After this happened too many times, I made a desperate move. I asked our mother for help. She agreed, sitting Ella down to watch iCarly. But when Ella started crying, Mom snapped, "You're pathetic. Your dad's gone for good. Not for me, not for Blake, and definitely not for you." She lit a cigarette right beside Ella and stormed upstairs to prepare for her night out. I was furious, wanting to lash out, but I held back because she was still my mother. Instead, I pulled Ella onto my lap to comfort her. She wasn't even crying, just whispered, "I know it's not Mom's fault. It's Dad's. He should have come home by now." Her innocence broke my heart. That night, I tucked her into my bed and lay beside her. When I woke up, Ella was gone. I searched the house, hoping she was hiding, but panic set in after 10 minutes. When I told Mom, expecting some concern, she laughed and said, "I know," before turning back to her latest fling. It was Saturday, so school wasn't an option. I drove around for 20 minutes until I found Ella 2 miles away, on the roadside, her small body cold and blue. I fell to my knees, vomiting, desperate to understand what had happened. Her phone, sticking out of her pocket, revealed the truth. A fake Instagram account, using Dad's name and photo, had been messaging her, claiming he was walking home. Ella had spent all night searching for him. When I checked the account, I saw it followed only one person, our mother. I knew instantly she was behind it. I stayed with my friend Marcus and his family for 2 weeks to escape Mom's toxicity. But then she launched a campaign to reel me back in. She called Marcus's parents, her voice dripping with fake concern, sobbing, "I'm so worried about Blake. He's not handling his grief well. His therapist says he might be delusional." There was no therapist, just another lie. Mrs. Rivera started eyeing me warily at breakfast, her concern laced with doubt. Then Mom's friends began stopping by with casseroles and hollow sympathy, saying things like, "Your mother's falling apart without you." Their words reeked of manipulation. The breaking point came when Mom's newest boyfriend, Trent, cornered me at the grocery store where I worked part-time. "Your mom's worried sick," he said, his cologne overwhelming as he loomed over me. I kept stacking soup cans, trying to stay calm. He pressed closer, saying, "She told me you're making up stories, that you can't accept what happened to Ella." I met his gaze and asked, "Did she tell you she made a fake Instagram account pretending to be my dead father?" His face flickered with doubt before he laughed it off, saying, "That's the crazy stuff she warned me about. You need help." I insisted I had proof, but I wasn't sure anymore. Mom was meticulously erasing her tracks, like a criminal covering her crimes. Trent's voice dropped to a menacing whisper as he warned, "Drop this, kid, before you make things worse for yourself. Your mom's been through enough. After he left, my manager Layla pulled me aside, her dark eyes filled with concern. Everything okay, Blake? That guy seemed intense. I forced a brittle smile, saying, just my mom's boyfriend checking in. It's fine. But it wasn't fine. I knew Mom was only beginning her twisted game. That night, I borrowed Marcus's laptop and created a new email account, forwarding all my evidence and encrypting it with a password only I knew. I had to outsmart Mom, staying steps ahead in this dangerous chess match. The next day, I skipped school and took a bus downtown to visit Mr. Ramirez, Dad's old friend who ran an electronics repair shop. The familiar scent of solder and coffee hit me, stirring memories of Dad bringing me there as a kid. Mr. Ramirez, who never liked Mom and saw through her years ago, greeted me warmly but grew solemn when he saw my face. I heard about Ella, mijo. I'm so sorry. Swallowing hard, I explained I needed help recovering deleted messages or data from Ella's iPad and phone, not revealing why, but letting my desperation show. He scratched his salt and pepper beard, then handed me a worn USB drive with recovery software, saying it could help if I accessed the devices or their cloud backups. As I left, he called out, "Be careful, Blake. Your dad would want you safe." I nodded, the lump in my throat growing. Caution was my only shield against Mom's schemes. Back at the Riveras, Mrs. Rivera confronted me in the kitchen, her arms crossed over her floral apron, the smell of chocolate chip cookies clashing with her stern expression. "The school called. You weren't in class today." I apologized, claiming I needed time to process Ella's loss. A half-truth, as Ella haunted my every thought. Hesitating, she added, "Your mother called again. She's threatening to file a missing persons report if you don't come home." I nearly laughed bitterly. Mom knew exactly where I was. This was just another tactic to control me. "I'm 17, turning 18 in 3 months," I said, mentally counting the days to freedom. "I'll figure it out." Mrs. Rivera shifted uncomfortably. "We love having you, Blake, but we can't get caught in a family dispute. If your mother insists—" I understood the unspoken message. My time there was running out. That night, sleep evaded me, my mind tangled in possibilities and dead ends. Mom's words at Dad's funeral echoed. "She was always his favorite," she'd hissed, her nails digging into my arm as the casket lowered. The image of Ella's frozen body on the roadside, her pink mittens clutched in her hands, haunted me. To outmaneuver Mom, I needed to understand her and find allies who saw her true nature. The next day I visited Dad's sister, Aunt Sophia, whom Mom had alienated with lies and conflicts. Sophia welcomed me with a warm hug, her familiar perfume like a comforting blanket. "I've been so worried about you, Blake." Her cozy apartment was filled with family photos, including Dad and Ella at the beach, their smiles frozen in time. A clay handprint Ella made for Sophia sat on the bookshelf, a painful reminder of her absence. Apologizing for my distance, I explained Mom had made contact difficult. Sophia's face darkened, her resemblance to Dad striking. "Your mother and I never got along, especially after what she did to your father." Surprised, I asked what she meant. Sitting me on her floral couch, Sophia revealed Mom's history of catfishing Dad with fake profiles to test his loyalty or manipulate him, isolating him from friends who saw through her. Weeks before his sudden heart attack, Dad planned to leave her, consulting a lawyer for custody of Ella and me. "He couldn't bear leaving you with her," Sophia said, squeezing my hand. "They fought the night before he died. She threatened to ruin him if he took you kids." Nausea hit me as I wondered if Mom could have caused his death, though I pushed the thought away, needing proof. When Sophia asked why I was digging now, I poured out everything: the fake Instagram account, the messages luring Ella out, Mom's chilling "I know" when I reported Ella missing. Sophia paled, horrified, and reached for her phone. "We need to go to the police." I explained I'd tried, but Mom deleted the account and painted me as an unstable, grieving teen. Officer Martinez was sympathetic, but said there wasn't enough evidence. Sophia gripped my hand tightly, her resolve clear. "We'll find a way, Blake. We have to." With Aunt Sophia's support, I felt a flicker of hope for the first time since finding Ella. "Your mother's done this before, Blake," Sophia said firmly. "She'll do it again. People like her can't help themselves." Her words fueled my resolve, and she let me stay at her apartment, giving me time to gather evidence and plan. Mom was livid, her facade of concern barely masking her rage. The next day, she stormed to Sophia's, banging on the door and screaming about parental alienation. "He's my son!" she shrieked, her voice echoing through the building. "You've always been jealous, trying to steal my husband, now my son." Sophia stood her ground, refusing to open the door. "He's almost 18, Caroline. He can choose where to stay." I recorded the outburst on my phone, adding it to my growing evidence, every venomous word preserved. Afterwards, Sophia, visibly shaken, made us tea, her hands trembling. "She's always been unstable, but this is worse. I'm worried about what she'll do next." I agreed, stirring honey into my tea. Mom thought she'd gotten away with what happened to Ella, but I was making progress, however slow. Using Mr. Ramirez's software and Ella's Apple ID, which I'd memorized from setting up her devices, I recovered some deleted iCloud messages. Not everything, but enough to show the fake dad account's manipulation, gradually luring Ella to meet him that tragic night. I also interviewed people who knew Dad, building a case about Mom's history of fake accounts. Most were hesitant, wary of Mom's retaliation, their nervous glances betraying their fear. But a few, like Dad's golf buddy Steven, shared stories corroborating Sophia's account, including one about Mom creating a fake Facebook profile to deceive Dad years ago. Then, a chilling discovery stopped me cold. My cousin Peyton, Sophia's 13-year-old daughter, showed me Instagram messages from an account claiming to be our grandfather, who died last year. "I know it's not Grandpa," Peyton said, rolling her eyes. "I'm not stupid, but it's creepy, right?" The messages mirrored those sent to Ella, friendly at first, then pushing for a meeting at the lake where his ashes were scattered, promising a special surprise if she came alone. My blood ran cold as I showed them to Sophia, who, panicking, sent Peyton to stay with her ex-husband for safety. We took the messages to the police, the evidence now too glaring to dismiss. Officer Martinez, who'd been at the scene when I found Ella, listened intently, her professional demeanor softening as she reviewed the screenshots. "This is concerning," she admitted, her brow furrowing. "But it's not enough to prove your mother created the account that messaged Ella or intended harm. We need direct evidence linking her to these accounts." Frustration surged in me. It's the same pattern. First Dad, then Ella, now Peyton. She's escalating, targeting family with fake profiles of dead loved ones. "What more do you need?" Martinez's tired eyes met mine with sympathy. "Keep documenting everything, Blake, and be careful. People like this slip up eventually." Leaving the station, I spotted Trent in the parking lot, leaning against his pickup, looking uneasy. "What are you doing here?" he demanded, his usual bravado faltering. "Talking to Officer Martinez about Mom's habit of making fake social media accounts to manipulate people," I said calmly, watching his reaction. "It's kind of her thing." A flicker of doubt crossed his face. "Your mom said you'd spout crazy stuff like that you're obsessed with social media or something." I stepped closer, curious about her lies. "What else did she say?" He shifted, avoiding my gaze. "That you've been making up stories since your dad died, blaming her for everything, jealous of her moving on." I nodded, recognizing Mom's deflection. "And you bought it?" Without wondering why a 17-year-old would invent such elaborate lies about his mother, he hesitated, uncertainty creeping in. "She's convincing, and the fake account thing does sound far-fetched." "Yeah, she's convincing," I said to Trent, my voice steady despite the anger simmering beneath. "That's how she gets away with it." As I started to walk away, a thought struck me, and I turned back. "By the way, how'd you two meet?" Trent's brow furrowed, caught off guard. "Instagram. She messaged me out of nowhere, said she liked my profile. Why?" I gave a grim smile, letting the implication linger. "You might want to check that story with her. Ask about Maya while you're at it." The seed of doubt I planted took root. 3 days later, Trent called, his voice tense. "I broke up with your mom," he blurted. "She lost it, accused me of cheating with some Maya person. I've never met anyone named Maya." I leaned into the phone, a cold satisfaction settling in. "Let me guess. She showed you messages from Maya? Screenshots of conversations you supposedly had?" "Yeah," he said, stunned. "How'd you know? Wait, you think she made Maya up? A fake account to trap me?" "I know she did," I replied. "She creates drama to play the victim. It's her playbook." After a long pause, he muttered, "Jesus, you might be right." She's not right in the head. Another ally gained, another piece of evidence. But Mom was growing desperate, and that made her dangerous, like a cornered animal ready to lash out. She spread rumors around our small town, claiming I was on drugs, having a mental breakdown, jealous of Ella's attention. Her lies even cost me my grocery store job. My manager, looking uneasy, called me in. "We've had complaints, Blake. Customers say you're acting erratically, making them uncomfortable." "What customers?" I demanded, anger flaring. He wouldn't say, but I knew Mom's friends were behind it, swayed by her sob stories. Without a job, I had no income to save for a place when I turned 18. Mom was cutting off my options, trying to force me back home, where she could control me. Then she escalated to physical intimidation. One morning, I found all 4 tires on my car slashed, the rubber torn like open wounds. No note, no proof, but I knew it was her, sending a message that she could reach me anywhere. I borrowed money from Aunt Sophia to replace 2 tires, enough to keep the car drivable, but I was constantly on edge, glancing over my shoulder, dreading her next move. A week later, 2 police officers arrived at Sophia's apartment, their faces grim. "Blake Anderson, we need you to come with us regarding a break-in at your mother's house." My stomach plummeted. "I haven't been there in weeks," I protested. "Your mother says otherwise," one officer replied. "She has security footage of someone matching your description entering through a window. Valuables are missing." Sophia grabbed her keys, her jaw set. "I'm coming with him, and we're calling a lawyer. Blake hasn't left this apartment in days." At the station, they showed me grainy footage of someone who looked like me, same height, similar build, wearing a hoodie I owned, climbing through Mom's kitchen window. But it wasn't me. I'd been at Sophia's all night, working on Ella's account data, and Sophia vouched for me. Pointing to the screen, I added, "I still have a house key. Why would I break in through a window when I could use the front door?" The officers exchanged looks. "Your mother said you returned your key when you moved out." I gave a bitter laugh. "I never returned any key. Check my keychain." Sure enough, the worn brass key was there, proof of my innocence. Sophia's lawyer noted the footage's timestamp coincided with when I was at a movie with Marcus, confirmed by theater records and witnesses. The charges collapsed, but Mom had succeeded in sowing doubt, painting me as an unstable teen who'd break into her home out of spite. Directly fighting Mom wasn't working. She was too skilled at manipulation, always 3 steps ahead. So I decided to use her own tactics against her. Drawing on her patterns, I created an anonymous blog detailing a story of parental manipulation and psychological abuse. I changed names and some details, but kept the core truth intact, exposing her playbook without directly naming her. The blog was my counterattack, a way to shift the narrative and let her feel the pressure of scrutiny, just as she'd done to me. I posted the blog on Reddit as TruthSeeker17, then shared it across other platforms. It went viral almost overnight, resonating with readers who recognized the subtle signs of manipulation in their own lives. Comments flooded in with stories of parental psychological abuse, and some users messaged me privately, one asking, "Is this about Caroline Anderson? She did something similar to my daughter at summer camp 2 years ago." The overwhelming support, horror, sympathy, and belief in the anonymized truth was a tidal wave. Mom saw it instantly and called Sophia's apartment, her voice piercing even without speakerphone. "I know what you're doing with your little internet story," she screamed when I answered. "Take it down, or I'll sue you for defamation." Calmly, I replied, "Sue me for what? I never named you. It could be about anyone." "Everyone knows it's me," she hissed, her guilt laid bare. "Why would they think that unless it's true?" I countered. She hung up, but the damage was done. The story spread through our town like wildfire. Mom's friends began to eye her warily, their smiles hollow, their invitations dwindling. The sympathy she'd milked as a grieving mother eroded, replaced by suspicion. Willow, a friend of Mom's for 15 years, met me for coffee at a cafe far from Mom's usual spots. "I always thought she was dramatic," she said, "but I never imagined this. The things in your post, I've seen her do some of them. I just didn't connect the dots." Mom's social isolation hit her hard. She thrived on attention, and now it was scarce. Her behavior grew erratic. She drank heavily, calling me at odd hours, her slurred voicemails swinging between threats and pleas. "You're killing me, Blake," she sobbed in one, ice clinking in her glass. "First your father leaves, then Ella, now you. What did I do?" The absurdity of her self-pity nearly made me laugh bitterly. She'd manipulated, lied, and caused Ella's death, yet still saw herself as the victim. 6 months after Ella's death, I turned 18, a milestone marked not with celebration, but with action. I filed for legal independence and petitioned for custody of Ella's and Dad's belongings, which Mom had held hostage. She fought back, hiring a costly lawyer to claim I was mentally unstable. But my evidence was ironclad: documented neglect, psychological abuse, and testimony from Sophia, Trent, and others about Mom's manipulative patterns spanning years. The court ruled in my favor, granting me freedom from her control and ownership of Ella's and Dad's possessions. A small victory amid profound loss. When I went to retrieve Ella's things, Mom made one final desperate move. I found her in the backyard, drunk at 10 a.m., burning photos, papers, Dad's sweater, and Ella's drawings in a metal trash can, flames licking the sky. "If I can't have them, no one can," she slurred, her eyes wild. Rage surged in me, but Mrs. Patel, the neighbor, intervened first, alarmed by the smoke. "Caroline, stop this!" she snapped, grabbing Mom's arm. "You'll burn the whole neighborhood down, and these aren't yours to destroy." While they argued, I slipped into the house, its once familiar scent now heavy with alcohol and neglect. In the attic, I found Dad's watch, golf clubs, journals, and Ella's treasures untouched. Mom's drunken haze had kept her from climbing the ladder. I packed my car with memories, filling the trunk and back seat, preserving what mattered most from her final act of spite. As I packed Ella's favorite stuffed rabbit, her seashell collection, Dad's old records, and photo albums untouched by Mom's attempts to rewrite our family history, I prepared to leave. Mom staggered toward me, reeking of alcohol and smoke, her once vibrant face now gaunt with bitterness. "You think you've won?" she slurred, swaying. "You'll never prove what happened to Ella. Never." For the first time in months, I truly saw her, a hollow shell, her power over me gone. Her unwashed hair, stained clothes, and bloodshot eyes revealed a woman who'd lost everything: her daughter, her boyfriend, her friends, her reputation. Yet she couldn't see her own role in the wreckage. "I don't need to prove it anymore," I said softly, a calm certainty settling over me. "You're punishing yourself better than any court could." I drove away without a backward glance, Dad's lottery ticket and Ella's stuffed animal on the passenger seat, silent companions for the road ahead. Sorting through Dad's and Ella's belongings in my new studio apartment, rented with Aunt Sophia's help, took weeks. Each item, a photo, a letter, Ella's diary chronicling her desperate search for Dad, carried memories both painful and precious. Tucked in a box of Dad's papers, I found a letter from Ella, written a week before her death, its edges soft with age. "Dear Blake," it began, her childish handwriting bringing tears. "Thank you for always protecting me. I know Dad is watching over us, even if we can't see him. I hope someday we'll all be together again. I love you more than all the stars. Your sister, Ella." Sitting on the floor, I sobbed, the grief pouring out for the first time since finding Ella's cold body by the roadside. That night, I placed her letter beside Dad's lottery ticket on my nightstand, small anchors of a family lost but never forgotten. As I drifted to sleep, a peace I hadn't felt in years settled in, the burden of guilt and anger beginning to lift. Mom was right. I couldn't prove her actions in court, but I'd exposed her true nature, ensuring she couldn't harm others as she had us. Most importantly, I'd kept my promise to protect Ella, even if too late. In my dreams, I saw Dad and Ella in a sunlit field, waiting for me. Not now, but someday. I slept soundly, unafraid of tomorrow. The next morning, sunlight streamed through my blinds, casting golden patterns across the studio. I lay still, watching dust motes dance, feeling lighter, the weight of years more bearable. Brewing coffee, its rich scent filling the space, I glanced at boxes waiting to be unpacked, Dad's golf trophies, Ella's painted rocks, fragments of a past that would shape my future. A text from Aunt Sophia buzzed in, her daily check-in a steady comfort. I smiled, typing back, grateful for the family she'd become. Outside, the neighborhood hummed, dogs walked, kids at bus stops, a mail carrier on his route, a world moving forward. For the first time, I felt ready to join it, not just as a survivor, but as someone with a future to build. I picked up Dad's lottery ticket, tracing its worn surface. I think I finally won, I whispered, tucking it into my wallet. Not money, but something greater: truth, freedom, and a chance to begin again.